Okay. Hopefully we're all in the shot. Alright. Go.
Down the sled.
I remember. This is the best idea.
You good? Good? Go.
And now it's time for This Week in History. On February 24th, 1965, the Beatles began filming Help in the Bahamas, with a little help from their friends. You know, Anna, Mr. Kite, Rita May, Miss Lizzie, Jude, Dr. Robert, Prudence, Mr. Mustard, Julia, that fool on the hill, Bungalow Bill, Lucy, some nowhere man, Michelle, Rocky Raccoon, Martha, Maxwell, and Eleanor Rigby. Everyone worked 8 days a week to get that done, and it was all helter-skelter at first, but eventually things started getting better. After a long and winding road of shooting, the film was finally released to a celebration of savory truffles and honey pie. "Boys," said the producer, "I've got to get you into my life. Because I want you. And tomorrow never knows what you'll be doing, so quick sign this contract." "I dig it," said Paul. "We can carry that weight," said Lennon. "Sure," said Harrison. "I don't want to spoil the party." "I'll be back," said Ringo, who left, deliberated for a moment, then returned and said, "I will." "Don't let me down," said the producer. "Don't make me say I should have known better." "Oh, I've got a feeling," said Lennon. "This is something." "Yes, it is," said the producer. "I foresee a few problems, but when I get home, we can work it out over the phone. You know my name. Look up the number." And that's how that particular producer made a ton of money. Because that's all he wanted. The end. On February 25th, 1838, a London pedestrian walks 20 miles backward then forward in 8 hours. Apparently, when he got to his destination, he forgot what he was going to do there. On February 26th, 1916, Mutual signed Charlie Chaplin to a film contract. Witnesses later reported he was absolutely speechless. On February 27, 1883, Oscar Hammerstein patented the first cigar-rolling machine, making it the first machine to have an offhand talent to show off at parties. I don't mean to brag, but I roll my own cigars. On February 28, 1935, nylon was discovered by Wallace H. Carothers, who then used it as a force for good and became Nylon Man. On March 1st, 1890, the first U.S. edition of Sherlock Holmes, Study in Scarlet, was published. I imagine the feeling was a bit like when the first U.S. Harry Potter was published, complete with 18th century hipsters and their vintage pilgrim hats. And on March 2nd, 1887, the American Trotting Association was formed, as a subsidiary of the British Ministry of Silly Walks. You see, we got onto that late too. And that was This Week in History. If you'd like to learn more, follow the links in the description. This week's interesting topic is a weird ear story. Check it out.
So as I was walking by you, I heard you had a weird ear story.
Yeah, I got an ear story. When I was 14, me and my brother went to the scary room, and there were bunk beds, and we were one of our friends over, so we were playing bunk and floor. And I don't know, it's weird when me and my brother got along really good, but we would be like the littlest things just set one of us off, and we just feel unusual in age. We always get pictures before the bus to do the same thing, most of the other guys, something really rough. So we woke up and he was like in our bed and like boxing shorts, and he was like just kept on my bed. So I just woke up and I was got all mad and started, I picked it up. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I feel like, I was still in the day, about it. I picked it up and threw it, and I threw it. He knew I was going to do it, so he jumped on the bed and picked up the blanket and said, shit. And right over the blanket, I was scared. He started flipping out. I ran up and I grabbed his ear and I pulled it out. It was just bleed everywhere. And I let it go downstairs and my mom was outside there. I ran outside and said, Mom, I'm in my boxes too. I just the whole time dressed. I got his blood all over my head. She said, what the heck's going on? I said, Mom, it's going to gym. What? You can imagine what she said. Well, he's got to go to the hospital, so she took him and threw the paper out. I think it was a Sunday, so it was like a big, he got up early to do big heavy papers. So I had to do the paper out and go to the house. So all morning I walked around going town to Barker delivering the paper. It was the biggest jerk, for doing that. And the worst, the kicker of it was in the paper because it was technically a scavenger. The hospitals have to report it, so the cop came and interviewed my mom and my brother about it, and we were reading the paper, and the last line of the police report said, "Believed unintentional." And my family still teases me about it. Believed unintentional.
So if they're helping your brother out with the paper out, did you get any money for that, or
no?
Just a favor?
Yeah, maybe a little guilt.
What kind of punishment did you make? No punishment. Stabbing your brother.
I was not.
No, lucky kid.
I know.
Nice mom.
Well, I was never punished, never punished. More looking at discipline machine.
Just stay away from me when you have a sword or a knife. Thanks.
Nathan Lewis, we are in the lounge car of the train heading from Denver to Chicago.
Omaha.
What? Omaha.
But yeah, Chicago, you're right.
This week's poem is about corrupt politicians. Enjoy. Somewhere, off in a secluded studio, where the offices are separated only by thin, flimsy glass, a man, who can barely pay the rent for his seedy apartment, transmits a silent, invisible signal from a radio tower. The jumbled electronic waves crash over my head and spout out my radio. And that is the first time I hear you say it. Your campaign promise. In another building, a columnist sends her opinion after weeks of sleepless nights spent writing, and it's printed on paper made in smoke-belching factories, with ink manufactured by starving children in foreign sweatshops. I buy a copy, my money flying straight into the hole that is our economy, and I see your promise a second time. An anchorman, whose wife screamed at him the night before, now talks to the nation through the lens of a camera. He smiles, the memory of "I hate you" and the threats of divorce hiding behind that upward parabola. And he switches the scene to you. You are addressing a stadium full of minimum wage slaves, scratching out their lives in suburban prisons, paycheck by paycheck. I hear your message a third time. Your promise? That catchphrase? That magical slogan that supposedly can turn this broken world into gold? You tell me you want to kill the source of all evil, all injustice, and all insecurity. Well, before you begin, let me remind you, dear Senator, that suicide is illegal in the U.S. and frowned upon in most other societies. And that was your weekly CHNO. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You wouldn't want to miss next week's episode, would you? This is Lucian Moser, reminding you that when the Grand Old Duke of York's 10,000 men are halfway up the hill, they are neither up nor down. Have a nice day. Okay, hopefully we're all in the shot.